Hello, my name's Alice Wiseman and I'm Director of Public Health for Gateshead. These two short films you're about to see are about smoking. The first is about what children think and feel about tobacco. Wisdom from the mouth of babes, as the saying goes. The other is about the experiences of doctors and other professionals who work with people who smoke, and the devastating effects of poverty and illness that smoking can cause. Everyone knows smoking kills, but few people ever talk honestly about the consequences, the sadness, the regret, the kind of feelings that someone dying from an entirely preventable illness might feel, as one of the doctors vividly describes in our film. Let's not gloss over the fact that no other product sold over the counter will kill half the people who buy it. That's a chilling statistic. It means one person every 21 hours dies in Gateshead from smoking. If you smoke, or you know someone who does, please watch these films and share them, and then think seriously about saving your own life or the life of someone you know and care about. Even if you don't smoke yourself, you might have friends or family members who do. If so, these films will give you a new and real insight into how smoking can affect them and the people around them.
Gateshead Public Health asked us what we thought about health and smoking, so we told them.
Why do you think people start smoking?
I think it's because they get encouraged by people that they look up to and they think, oh, well, if they're smoking, then smoking's okay because that they look up to that person, and once they start, they can't stop anymore.
Because other people do it and
They just copy off people.
yeah, to try to get a reputation and all that.
I want to be a soda, so I wouldn't start smoking, and I haven't never smoked, and I wouldn't smoke. It's just an incredibly bad habit.
Should smoking be banned, or should people have the right to choose?
I think it should be banned because more and more people are dying and smoking.
I don't know, I think they should have the right to choose. It's up to them.
If it was healthy and it was not killing people, then it'd be okay to choose.
We have the right to choose what we do with our lives, but we don't want to die.
Should smokers pay for their treatment if they get smoking-related diseases?
That's really hard. Because some maybe, but maybe no.
I don't think so, because I think we should treat everyone equally,
Yeah.
even if it is their own fault.
Yes, because they're choosing to smoke. It's their fault, really.
Do you think health warning on a packet of cigarettes is a good idea?
Definitely, because then people will know what they're getting themselves into, and then even though some people will still buy it, they'll still know, well, it was my fault. I knew the consequences of what would happen if I started smoking.
Yeah. And I think that it is absolutely so good that they have put health warnings, because they could have just put do not smoke, it is bad for you. They have actually put pictures of consequences and saying the worst thing you could actually say about cigarettes on the packet, so they know, well, I don't want to smoke anymore because this could happen to me. Is the world better or worse because of cigarettes?
Worse.
It's a million times worse.
It's bad for the environment and also for people.
If you were in a car and your father or mother was smoking and they had all the windows up and there was 2 children in the back, if they'd done that for 10 years straight, the children would probably die because they've inhaled it.
Yeah, because the children's second-hand smoking as well, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I know what's in them.
Yeah.
That's just making us ill thinking about it, what's in them and what people put in the body. No.
The government makes approximately £12 billion from taxing cigarettes. They can use this money to help run the country. Is this positive?
It's like one of those dilemmas where you yes, it could help it, but then no, because you're getting all this money to help the country, and that's good because you're running the country, but then you're also on the other hand killing people.
Also, it's just kind of disgusting that the government are making so much money from harming people?
Yeah, they must think like, when David Cameron was president, I bet you he was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm so rich, all them people are dying and I'm so rich and so cool.
A head of a tobacco company said, "We don't smoke the shit, we'll just sell it. We reserve the right to smoke for the young, the poor, the black and the stupid." What would have you said back?
I'd have punched his face in.
Yeah, that sounds stupid.
They don't smoke, but
They're just selling it to get money.
they are being so racist there.
I don't take my notice serious, but I would tell them to piss off. I'll get angry.
I think that's a bit like irresponsible of them, because like if they don't smoke it but they still sell it, and they're like basically killing people because of what they're selling.
I feel like they should feel guilty if someone dies. The blood is on their hands.
Been in really ill health for 5 years now.
I initially went to the doctors because I was obviously getting breathless. That was just where I worked at the time. There was 2 flights of stairs to climb, and I was getting to the top of the stairs feeling a little bit dizzy, a little bit breathless, and went to the docs thinking it was I don't know, blood pressure or whatever.
Big heart attack 17 years ago. Managed to get back to work. Took no notice at all with a heart attack, and then took really bad 5 years ago, and defibrillator fitted now, and half my heart just completely kafunk, and it's all due to smoking, I should imagine. Yeah, all due to smoking and my lifestyle and drinking and whatever. And
a large part of my day job is working with people who have very severe health problems directly as a result of smoking. Usually this is in the form of things like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, or emphysema. And the sad thing about it is, actually, in a lot of people's case, in the case of a lot of the patients that I come across, their condition is almost entirely preventable.
It's a fact that people on low incomes, they smoke more, they suffer more, they spend more, and they die more from tobacco. In Gateshead, 23,700 households have at least one smoker in them. There's an average spend on tobacco each year of £2,160. And from these households, 8,000 of them are living in below the poverty line. If every one of those people was to stop smoking, 2,670 households would immediately be lifted out of poverty.
We were approached by a district nurse who'd visited an elderly man who had cancer as a result of smoking, a lung cancer, and she'd visited him at home, and he had no sheets on his bed. He was living in very poor conditions, so she came to us and said, "Is there anything you can do?" Well, Fact has some charity shops in the area, so they are full of sheets and towels and bedding, and I thought, well, if he hasn't got sheets, he probably hasn't got towels, probably hasn't got a dressing gown, probably hasn't got a warm jumper to wear through the day. So we very discreetly put a nice bundle together and passed it to the nurse to take next time.
Because smoking remains the biggest issue that dominates my job and the job of my colleagues, and dominates the experiences of most of our patients in the hospital.
These conditions are inherently very debilitating. So some people feel a little bit breathless when they're just walking around, and that in itself, I would say, is quite a limitation on someone's lifestyle. But it's not uncommon to see patients that are so profoundly breathless that they can't even wash and dress on their own, and really struggle to lead a normal life.
I mean, I tried to give up smoking loads and loads of times, like people do. I'd been to cessation classes, tablets, acupuncture, never ever worked. But I think it was the sort of stark fact of being told you had COPD, which doesn't really improve. It just once you stop the smoking, it doesn't get any worse.
I've not yet met any patient who's told me when faced with the diagnosis of something that's been caused by the smoking. I've not yet met anybody who says it's worth it.
The impacts of that diagnosis aren't just the clinical impacts that you might expect to hear about, but there's a lot of social, financial, emotional, psychological issues attached to a diagnosis and a cancer journey throughout treatment.
And that look on someone's face when they realise that this thing that's just been a normal part of their life for as long as they can remember is actually now the thing that means that they're not going to be alive in 2 or 3 years' time. It's a horrible look, and it's a sad, sad look, because across their face you see all those regrets of, I've been always meaning to give this up. I never quite got round to it. And now it's a bit late. We just have to keep chipping away at reducing the exposure to the marketing. It's still there. We still know it goes on. We still see the behaviour of the tobacco industry trying to find their way around all the blocks and obstructions. We still have to keep chipping away at reducing availability of the cheap tobacco that's been smuggled in and is counterfeit. We've got to keep chipping away at dealing with people trying to ignore the regulations, the shops that are still not quite sticking to the no display of tobacco products. We just have to keep chipping away. We know all these things work. We know none of them on their own are a miracle, but we can look at the graphs of the last 5 to 10 years and see the progress, and we just have to keep on track, keep committed to it. And we've gone from 29% down to 19% smoking prevalence. It's a phenomenal achievement. We just have to keep up the work, and one day we'll get there.